Hey there, viewers. Welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. Got the 2025 Hyundai. It's the Palisade. It's got the big 3.8, and it's got a little bit of a story. I'm going to try to condense it down as much as I can because this lady is just looking for some resolution and some repair to her brand new vehicle. It's got 30K on it now. I think she's owned it about a year. Bought it brand new, original owner, and has had this problem shortly after purchasing the vehicle. I don't know the exact mileage because I didn't document any of this because I didn't think I was going to have to be the guy to fix it because the car is clearly under warranty. But I'll give you the very condensed version. Bought the car, drove it. She's happy. Everything's going great. But then it developed this problem where she would start the vehicle, and this was typically on a cold start, although it happened sometimes sitting in the drive-thru and sometimes getting off the exit ramp after an extended drive. The engine light would come on and the car would run very rough. That was her description to me. In which case I advised, I'm like, well, lady, your car's brand new. Take it to the dealer, let them fix it. In which she did, in which case she was told to kick rocks because, it's not broken when she brought it in. Little frustrated with that, this continued on, and it was intermittent, in the dealer's defense. It is a very intermittent problem. It might happen twice in 1 week, and then it might go a month and never happen. So it was very intermittent. She recorded it on her phone, went out, she remote started her car, and it immediately started at that point. This was one time in the winter. For reference, we're August 2026. I'm speaking to you from the past. I hope the future's great. She remote started her car, went out there, and this thing's chugging. Whoomp, 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 whoomp. Sounds like a big cammed up, LS swapped Palisade, if there is such a thing. But that's what it sounded like. And when she showed me that video, I'm like, oh gosh, this thing sounds like the cam timing's way off or the EGR valve stuck open, if it had one. But on a variable cam timing engine, that controls EGR-ish, amongst many other benefits of having variable cam timing, camshaft underlap and overlap, or valve timing underlap and overlap, plus, giving the EGR type effect. It stands to reason like, hey, that sounds like cam timing's off or the EGR valve's open. They kind of sound the same. So that's what it sounded like in her video. And then I pull codes out of it for her. So I can, let me see what codes this thing has. And it's thrown at P000A, like alpha. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Well, everything, your video plus the codes it's thrown, go back to the dealer, lady. Like, your car's having some sort of issue controlling the bank one cam timing. Super cut and dry. I don't want to say super cut and dry, but it's obvious there's something going on with the intake cam correlation on bank one. All the other three camshafts are fine, or, seemingly within spec because it's not throwing a code against it. I print her out the code list, don't clear the codes, send her to the dealer. Dealer tells her to kick rocks, nothing we can do. Every time this light comes on, she gets a notification on her phone, and the dealer is also notified. But despite the back and forth with the dealer, there's nothing, they tell her there's nothing they can do, absolutely nothing they can do unless the car's acting up while it's in the bay. So she takes it in, she's there for 2 hours. Again, kick rocks, get out of here, lady. Unless the car's broke, we're not gonna do anything for you. So I gave her my advice. I said, lady, if you were one of my customers, this is a very intermittent problem, which in the dealership's defense can be difficult to track down. There's some intermittent problems, there's nothing we can do until it's broke. In this case, my suggestion was, what controls the intake cam timing on bank 1 and 2? What controls the exhaust cam timing? And can we do a little Diagnostics or Swap-Tronics, if you will, to see if we can move the problem? And if the problem moves, great. It's whatever that control device is the problem. And if it doesn't move, probably looking at something in the cam phaser itself, or the oil control valve that goes in the middle of the cam phaser, the bolt that holds the cam gear on, if you will, would be the easiest way to say it. And her and her husband got fed up with the dealership to the point they just says, it's your problem now, pal. And they were pointing at me. They were nice about it. They said, do you want to take a look at it? I said, I can, but I'm going to charge you for it, which is nonsense. I should not have to charge you to work on your 2025 anything that's well within the powertrain warranty. So here we are, June 1st in the year 2026. She stops in. Hey, my light's on. Do you want to look at it? Yep, I do. Same code. I go out there, P000A, June 1st. I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do, lady. I checked it out, came up with a plan. Let me show you what I did, and let me show you the results of that test. And mind you, Hyundai could have done this for $0, and the lady would have been happy, and she'd go back and buy another car. But instead, she's not gonna. She's gonna go back to driving Nissans and never give this dealership a second look because they're not willing to help. I know that was a long-winded intro, folks, but that's the only way to let you guys know what's what. So now that it's my problem, I had to do a little digging in service info to say what is Hyundai using to control the cam timing on these engines. Here's the long and short of it. It's pretty basic, pretty standard to run across variable cam timing engines. Every manufacturer uses them now, almost. We have an oil control valve here, or a, what the heck does Hyundai call this here? The variable force solenoid. This controls your intake camshaft. This is bank 2, and then we have one back here on bank 1, and that controls intake cam only. Pushes in on an oil control valve that is on the end of the cam, the cam phaser, so pretty standard stuff. And then this is kind of deceptive here. We have an oil control valve here and an oil control valve here. The variable cam timing control oil control valve, CVVT, OCV, I think they call it. They use a lot of acronyms. Even though this looks like it's up on the intake, underneath the valve cover here, it goes all the way down and goes to the exhaust valve. So this oil control solenoid controls exhaust valve on bank 2, exhaust valve on bank 1, intake valve on bank 1, and intake cam on bank 2, not intake valve, intake cam. So 2 different control solenoids, exhaust and intake. Super standard, intake cam sensor, exhaust cam sensor. So that's it. It's an oil pressure driven variable cam timing engine. Easy peasy, pretty standard stuff. June 1st comes in with the P000A. I said, you know what? How do we know it's not in this variable force solenoid? Well, we don't. Why don't we mark them and just swap them, see if it follows the solenoid. So I label here, bank 2 is this one, bank 1's that one, and I labeled this OG bank 1, and that's the OG bank 2. We flip-flopped them. Fast forward from June 1st to July 8th in the year 2026. Now the car all of a sudden has a P000C. Huh. What do you know? Just like that, boom, we fixed the problem. We called up Hyundai. We ordered the part. Because that 100% definitively proves that this little oil control valve, or the variable force solenoid, is junk. Because we had the problem originally on bank 1. Let me give you the definition of this code. It is camshaft position, a slow response. And when it ends with an A, it means it's a slow response on bank 1. And when it ends with a C, it's a slow response on bank 2 intake cam. So that's all it means. If I had swapped these solenoids, and then in July 8th, the lady stopped by and it still had a P000A, well, that would indicate, well, there's nothing wrong with the variable force solenoid or its control circuit. There's something wrong with the cam phaser or one of its components there, or the pickup for the cam, for the camshaft, something other than a variable force solenoid. But I guess at the end of the day, all I'm getting at is the dealer should have just took a minute, listened to the lady, looked at her video, listened to her complaint, and said, you know what, let's just try something. Let's just swap these around. Let's see if the code follows it. Okay, yeah, it did. Great, we're in the same boat. Hey, lady, shake your hand, have a nice day. I guess all I'm trying to tell you, folks, is this cam phaser, or this variable force solenoid that was originally in bank 1, that had a code for that bank, that is now in bank 2, that now has a code for bank 2, it's faulty. It took me 5 minutes. There's 2 bolts. You undo them, you pull it out, you pop the new one in, you tell the lady, give me a call when your light comes back on. In which case she did. A month ago. Almost a month ago to the date. Today's August 5th. And she called me up. Hey, my light's on. Do you want the code? I've got the app. So she gives me the code. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. You fixed your car, lady. So that's it, folks. I'm going to put this thing in. We're going to clear the codes. We're going to send the lady on the way. Do a little dealer shaming here because it is such a shame that this lady can go to the dealership, buy a $60-some thousand car. This is the calligraphy edition. This thing is fully loaded. Every available option, over 60 grand. And the dealership gives her the middle finger and says, tough shit, lady. There's nothing we can do. Get out of our face. We hope you come back and buy another car, though. I know it's not the video you guys are hoping for, just a lot of talking, a lot of explaining, and I didn't show you how to take the 2 bolts out and change the variable force solenoid, but that's all she is. It's got a little donger, it pokes out the oil control valve at the end of the cam. The dealership easily could have done this for this lady as a service. Instead, they just want to flip her the bird and be like, we already got your money. You have a nice day. I don't know if they did that, but that's how it seems. And we get this story time after time after time, and I try to encourage people like, look, if I fix your car, I'm going to charge you for it. Go to the dealer, get it fixed for free. But these people are sick of it, and we're doing more and more out-of-pocket repairs for cars that are clearly under warranty, and it just sucks. I mean, not for me, but for the customer. But even on this, I just charge a lady a half an hour labor, charge her $55. Because I've got to look up in service info, how does it work? Let's play some Swap-Tronics, use a half hour of my time. Give me a call. And in this case, I'm just going to put this thing in for her. It's, when she had called, give me the code, great, it's a 2-minute fix. Hyundai, step up your game. Fix the lady's damn car. And honestly, she's never going to come back and buy a vehicle. And her husband always buy brand new vehicles. And they buy a lot of them because she keeps them for 2 or 3 years, buys another new vehicle. They can afford to do this, so this is what they do. But I'll tell you right now, not only are they not going to go back and buy another Hyundai or Kia from this dealer, they're not going to buy any other vehicles from this entire franchise. And it's a big franchise. It's a very local dealer. Everybody knows who they are. Her husband buys a new truck every couple of years. Brand new truck, boom, pays for cash. They're not going to go to this franchise. Will he buy another Dodge truck? Oh, I'm certain he will. Is he going to buy it from this dealer? Absolutely not, because they received such poor service and the fact that the dealer doesn't want to do anything because it's not acting up. I've never seen the car act up either. Anyhow, don't you act up in that comment section. Behave yourself down there. Look for us on the Insta, the Facebook. Just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.